Maligayang pagbabalik sa inyo lahat. Welcome back to Fragments. Ako po si Fraggy, and tonight, I have a special guest with me. I consider it a collab, yes. At the same time, mas gusto ko siyang ilagay under the G fragment. Kung napansin nyo, natapos na natin yung FRA, and we're now moving to GG. Sakto kasi pareho kaming may GGY sa aming mga palayaw. I'm Fraggy, siya ay si Jiggy. And at the same time, his channel on YouTube is also starts with the G, so it's Geek Speak. So for tonight's GG Fraggment, I have with me a good friend who also invited me to collab on his channel on a very dear topic to the both of us because we grew up in the same generation, and I have to say probably the best generation. Kaya maganda naman ito pag-uusapan namin ngayong gabi. It's all about the 90s cartoon hits that we grew up liking, following, and even falling in love with. So tonight, to join us dito po sa Fragments, I have with me Mr. Jiggy Cruz. Jiggy, maraming salamat for gracing my channel! Kamusta ka?
Hey Fraggy, maraming salamat. Really honored to be part of the Fragments channel. And tama ka, may pareho tayong GG, pero GGY. Pero yun, di ba the kids these days say GG or good game?
Yes, good game. Okay, very good. Ginawa po namin sa channel ni Jiggy. You will also get a chance to watch it. We talked about our 80s cartoon choices. Dito naman sa Fragments ngayon ay pag-uusapan namin yung aming chosen 90s animated series or again a cartoon show that we followed and we really liked. To start things off, I'm gonna ask Jiggy already, what do you think was special about the 90s cartoon era muna, in general?
Well, I think that the 90s cartoon era, well, they're big shoes to fill because so many cartoons from the 80s are being rebooted now, but I think that the 90s really upgraded their animation style.
Okay.
For example, X-Men in 1992.
Right.
People today compare it that why aren't they animating the cartoons now just like X-Men? Like X-Men was such a high quality animated cartoon, animated series back then. And there are even rumors that they want to continue the X-Men 92 universe.
That will be, I think that'll be more than welcome, lalo na because of the surge of the Marvel franchise. Magandang ano yun.
And if you ask people, kung tanungin kita, Fraggy, like, ano yung music na naririnig mo if I say X-Men? And common answer with people, they'd be humming the X-Men. That's why it's so impactful.
Correct. As early as the 90s, meron ng effective scoring na ginagawa in a cartoon.
Yes.
Ang ganda ng point mo because I remember during the quiz night that you had for Disney, which I was very fortunate enough to join also. Parang the 90s was also the golden age for a studio like Disney. So I think
I would think maybe late 80s to the early 90s.
Alright.
We'll say that sige, pareho na silang ano. But kasi 87 was DuckTales, and then 89 Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and then in the 90s you have Darkwing Duck
right.
and the Goof Troop and Tailspin. I may be wrong about Tailspin, but I don't know if Tailspin was 80s or 90s. Ayun.
Darkwing Duck lang yata yung nag-crossover ba si Launchpad from DuckTales to Darkwing Duck?
Yes, so it was confirmed that there was just one big universe within that. Saint Canard, Duckburg, and even Spoonerville are in the same universe. Yeah.
There you go. So it would have been possible for the nephews to also. Did they meet Darkwing? Walang ganong crossover na nangyari.
I don't think so. But the character that crossed over to Saint Canard was also Gizmo Duck.
Gizmo Duck, yes, the one with the wheel for a leg.
And Launchpad, where the DuckTales characters that went to Darkwing Duck.
Distinct memory for me si Launchpad as a crossover because I loved DuckTales in the 80s. I was a fan. And it's even now, it's in my Spotify soundtrack playlist. And then, go.
Here, this is why DuckTales is so great. They have a reboot. They never change the intro music. It's still
Correct.
That's how great the DuckTales cartoon theme is.
Correct. I just have a little sentiment for the reboot. In terms of the animation, the sketch, I find it new.
Too new.
Like the softer ducks.
So, Fraggy, I have a question. Are you watching the new DuckTales cartoons? The reboot, I mean.
I tried to.
It's actually a nice story, but unfortunately, there's no more Disney Life available in the Philippines, so we'll just have to wait for Disney Plus, or you can watch on the Disney Channel.
Sabagay. True. Ay, nako, but yeah, I loved it. And yun, going back, that's why Launchpad was a clear character memory for me. Because when Darkwing Duck came into the picture, into the era, my brothers and I even bought the family computer cartridge, the game. And distinctly, Launchpad was like one of your allies in the Darkwing Duck game. And kaya ako parang, di ba nasa DuckTales ka? Bakit ka nandito? Kaya ako doon ako parang
family computer, not even Super Nintendo?
Not even. Family computer.
Wow.
Yeah. Kasi hindi pa siya yung gray eh. Naalala ko talaga eh. Okay, as evidenced po by our thorough discussion in this short span of time, napakarami talagang cartoons, too many topics to discuss, which goes to show that the 80s and 90s were very, very good generations and decades for the animation industry. So for the Fragments episode ngayon, sa collab namin ni Jiggy, we'll talk about our favorite 90s cartoons. Kung makikita niyo po sa likuran ko, I set up a mini tower of cartoon characters, mostly from the Nickelodeon channel, all within the 90s era. I'd like to thank my brother Chino for lending me his Funko collection. Ito po ang kinalakan din naming panoorin. And with that, Jiggy, tatanungin kita, what is your 90s cartoon pick and why?
So if you see right behind me, it's really Spider-Man, the 1994 Spider-Man, the animated series, which was televised on ABS-CBN. Friday nights, if I'm not mistaken, 7:30 p.m.
Clean yun ah. Okay, question. I know you're a fan of Spider-Man. What is it about? Is it about Spider-Man or Peter Parker as a person that draws you to this character?
I think it's a little bit of both because as evidenced by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, anyone can be behind the mask. But the 1994 Spider-Man the Animated Series, I really liked Christopher Daniel Barnes, who voiced over Peter Parker in Spider-Man. And since you're a Disney fan, did you know that he also voiced Prince Eric from
Little Mermaid? No! Kinakabahan na ako dito. May voice actor category ka kasi sa Friday eh.
Yun.
Ito na
So,
sinasabi ko eh.
so si CDB or si Christopher Daniel Barnes, he also played Greg Brady in the Brady Bunch movie.
Wow.
So yeah, I really liked his voice. I think he was such a great Peter Parker, and that cartoon actually showed what a Spider-Man story should be. Like, he'd save the day, and at the end of the episode, may sakit si Aunt May, or nireject siya ni Felicia Hardy, but then Mary Jane appears. So, and he had a lot of great villains, and a lot of the Batman fans will say that Batman has the best villains, but I would like to put up in front that Spider-Man's villains are up there equally with Batman's villains.
Pwede. So if you were to pick top 2 villains ni Spider-Man
From the 1994 animated series, I think it would have, number 1, it would have to be Hobgoblin.
Talaga, okay.
And Hobgoblin was voiced by Mark Hamill.
Wow,
who
Luke
voiced
Skywalker. Galing.
So I'd pick Hobgoblin and probably Norman Osborn.
Okay. Ikaw ba yung tipong nire-record mo pa yung episodes at pinapanood ulit? Hindi naman.
Actually, I wasn't into the recording, into the VHS back then, but I did start recording VHS when Voltes 5 re-aired on GMA7.
Okay. Talaga?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, the animated series.
So what about you? What was your favorite 90s cartoon nung lumalaki ka?
Okay, I'll be honest. We were chatting naman when you brought up the topic for discussion. And I was kinda on the fence between Eto Rangers, which was an anime that was basically, ano ba to? Para siyang Once Upon a Time that they would go into fairy tales and try to avert or save the damsels in distress, but the characters were made up of the Chinese calendar animals. Kaya
Wait, I kinda know this.
sobrang galing nun Hindi ko
Ito ba yung mga zodiac sign?
Yes.
Okay. Was it IBC 13?
Yes, 13, correct, exactly.
Okay. I remember that.
So it was very a close decision point between Eto Rangers and my ultimate choice, which would have to be Bucky O'Hare. There's
Captain Bucky O'Hare.
Yes.
With Dead-Eye Duck and Willie
Blinky
DeWitt.
and Jenny. Yes, exactly. So when I mentioned it to my siblings yesterday, sabay pa kami nung sumunod sa akin kasi kami magkalapit ng age na kumanta ng Captain Bucky O'Hare. May ganun pang opening song yun And again,
do you know that I believe it was also produced by Marvel Productions.
What? Okay, ngayon ko na nalalaman itong mga favorites ko. Masaya naman ako. Gaya ng Fraggle Rock sa 80s, Marvel din. Nalaman ko mula sa'yo kani-kanina lang.
Fraggy, pwede ko bang sa'yo? I was researching
Go!
And there was one year wherein sobrang daming magagandang cartoons na lumabas.
Solid!
But there was one year na parang sobrang walang kwenta ng mga lumabas, like, oh, what a bad year for cartoons.
Like what?
Okay, so I'll share with you what I think was the best year in the 90s that had produced the most number of classics.
Sige.
Okay, so 1991. Do you remember Rupert Bear?
Yes, indeed. The White Bear.
Okay, so Rupert Bear, The Adventures of Tintin,
Yes.
Darkwing Duck,
Yes.
Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, and Captain Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars, The Pirates of Dark Water, and finally Pro Stars.
Pro Stars. Bo Jackson, Wayne Gretzky, and Michael Jordan.
Of course!
Right! I remember. Because they would always come on live after the show or before the episode.
Pero wala si Michael Jordan. Parang it was just Wayne or Bo Jackson.
Oh my!
Masyadong mahal si MJ.
Sama Pro Stars.
ABC 5.
Grabe! Masarap balikan talaga.
Yes.
Even your post, I was fine when I saw your post on the quiz night group. Ultimo talagang Battletoads, I think, was there. And even Gem and the Holograms was there. And you sabi ko, talaga namang... Yeah, those 20 years.
So for 80s naman,
Go.
The year I was born was 1985. Pero ito yung mga lumabas lang noong 1985, para lang malaman ng mga tao.
Go.
You got the Care Bears.
Yes, Stare.
The Gummy Bears. Disney.
Okay, I was gonna mention that kanina sa episode mo. Love na love ko yan. Disney yan.
And actually, Fraggy, I was listening to the theme song of Gummy Bears. It's so Disney. I love it.
Jiggy, sobrang ano ko yan. Jam ko yan pag talagang pang-feel ko.
No, seriously, like, sobrang ang ganda ng Gummy Bear theme song.
As in, nasa puso ko ang magic and mystery are part of their history along with the secrets of gummy berry juice. As in, yes! Yes!
Okay, so after Gummy Bears, you got G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Gem and the Holograms, Mask,
Uy,
Robotech, Droids,
Star
Star Wars Droids, She-Ra, the Princess of Power, and finally, my favorite from 1985, Thundercats.
Yeah! Lino.
Yeah. Yung walang kwentang year would have to be 92. Konti lang siya.
Bakit kaya?
92, ito lang yung mga lumabas. Like, yung maganda lang talaga for me. Western was X-Men and Goof Troop.
Goof Troop, yeah.
From Japan, you do have Sailor Moon and Yu Yu Hakusho or Ghost Fight.
Sobrang, okay, busog na yon yung dalawang yon.
Yeah.
For the next decade, so nga.
Yes.
Yung 92 mystery yun
Pero yun, I also wanted to discuss, there were some cartoons that did not age well. If you look at it now, from the 90s, it was Beast Wars Transformers.
Yes, I actually like that. Studio 23.
Pero, like, back then, ang ganda, CGI, yada. Pero pag tingnan mo siya ngayon, hindi na siya ganun kaganda.
A rewatch is worth, doing. Ito nga na lang when I was borrowing the toys from my brother, from Chino, looking back, I never really, maybe because nga, na-mention mo rin, we grew up with iChannel, or maybe ABS, the networks, IBC, RPN had the really nice cartoons. During that time, I never really saw Nickelodeon as a strong channel contender for cartoons.
Because it was late already.
Yun na nga
Nickelodeon, I believe, came in 99?
Yun, Cartoon Network was there already. Tapos when I was looking at the toys when I was handing over, sabi ko, teka, medyo I spent a good amount of my years also watching these things,
Yeah,
so they kind of actually caught up well din naman. Nickelodeon for me kasi was more of the, Wild and Out, all that, yun na yun
We did get some Nickelodeon shows on iChannel. Like, Wild and Crazy Kids, do you remember that?
Yes. Yung yun,
and then,
obstacle course.
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Loved Are You Afraid of the Dark? Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story. Sobrang ako nagigig out sa Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Actually, pwede mo pa gawing episode yun. There were, I think, there were some members of the Midnight Society na sumikat pa
What?
I'm trying to remember who pero alam ko, member siya ng Midnight Society? Tapos, nga,
To be fair, legitimately, doon ako yata unang natakot ng TV show na malaganon ang topic, paranormal. Ako parang, okay, medyo creepy na to. Galing nila magkwento, galing nila execute, ganun.
I remember it's probably on BuzzFeed or somewhere in the internet, yung mga scariest
Are You Afraid of the Dark stories?
Episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
And then they ranked like who was the best storyteller, sino yung pinakawalang kwentang storyteller din yan.
Sobrang grabe yung fever na yun na we would usually go to the beach kasi every Holy Week growing up. Tapos talagang pag nagbo-bonfire, may ganun pa kaming sand into the bonfire reenactment.
I call the story.
Kaya solid. Pero yun na nga. Natutuwa ako na we have these because we were talking about earlier on your channel na the figurines and all of these collectibles. We had a fair share also of the toys and then eventually we let them go. So ngayon that we're starting to develop this fandom for Funko Pops, this is the closest thing na siguro we have of recollecting all of those icons.
Yes. Although there are also the classic collections, these old toy companies are reusing the molds.
Ganda.
Parang pinamigay mo na ba yung toys mo before? Ito, pwede mo bilhin ulit.
Ganda. Wait, Tales of the Crypt Keeper was also in the 90s?
It was in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
On ABC. Wait, Fraggy, I don't know.
Go.
We had cable kasi early. Saturday nights, parang Channel 47, parang may US feed pa.
Yes, which was what?
Ayun, parang you get
may Addams Family yun.
Mumesa, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, Adam's Family.
Adam's Family.
Right. That was always, yes. Sobrang Saturday Night Habit yun. Grabe yung Sonic.
Tapos parang may 2 hours ba of Bugs Bunny? Tama ba?
Correct. Parang
Yeah.
na.
Pag Looney Tunes na, parang okay, time to sleep kasi late na.
Exactly! Tama, yun pa yung di kahon pa yung cable eh. Yung may
Yes.
pop pa talaga eh.
Yes.
Tapos, okay yun. I remember kasi when we were talking about iChannel, I distinctly remember Ben Press building pa yung pag-claim ng certificates or the ID and everything.
Wow.
So yeah, too much memories which I am very happy about. The 80s
Yeah.
and the 90s. Na sana talaga, may mga iano pa sila. I-revive sila or I'm sure they're preserved. But
Agree.
some revive. Like Bucky O'Hare, please. Shout out to whoever wants to. Marvel. Gusto mo i-revive ulit. Feeling ko mas... Kasi iniisip ko kanina before we did the shoot na parang may similarities yata to the Guardians ang Bucky O'Hare crew Iniisip ko yung may mala rocket sila kay Dead-Eye Duck or mas Ravager ba si Dead-Eye Duck yung ganong tipo.
Okay.
Wait.
I don't know, we should check it out. Or, well, kasi Guardians, I think predates Bucky O'Hare.
Oo nga, pwedeng inspiration ng Bucky ang Guardians.
Can be.
Kasi nilaro rin namin yung, ito confirmed to Jiggy, family computer yung cartridge nun. Hiniram ko pa yata yun sa kaklase ko na may Bucky O'Hare. Doon lang ako nakalaro ng game na every stage would be a different member of the team. And the skill or the ability or the power was apt for the stage. So, kina-customize na nung game mismo na, okay, dito bagay si Bucky dito, si Jenny dito, or si Dead-Eye Duck dito, or si...
Nice.
So, parang matalino rin pala. Kaya mahal ko ang Bucky O'Hare. Ikaw si Spider-Man, the animated series.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Kaya ang saya. Sobrang dami mo masyadong pag-usapan, pero ang saya.
Actually, dapat podcast na lang to kasi
Pwede.
there's just too much to talk about.
Pwede. Well, that's something worth looking into. A cartoonan episode, dami na nun. That's good for like... Sige, offline na natin pag-usapan. Okay. At dyan po, nagtatapos ang ating panayam or collab with Mr. Jiggy. Jiggy, they want to invite everyone, the viewers of Fragments, to visit and enjoy also your channel.
Actually, thank you very much, Fraggy, for agreeing to this collaboration. Pero yung mga nanonood ng Fragments channel, baka gusto nyo sumali sa Quiz Night Championship League presented by Geek Speak and SHOOR Philippines. So, it's really my advocacy for you to have fun at home. Kasi, you know, delikado lumabas and I really want my friends to stay safe. So, every Friday night, we'll have fun for 2 hours discussing all these trivia questions that I made. And ayun, lumalabas ang friendly, competitive spirit ng mga tao. And at the same time, you get a chance to win some really cool prizes. Do check out www.shoor.com.ph. Thanks, Fraggy.
Thanks, Jiggy. I will definitely attest po yung Championship League ng Quiz Night ni Jiggy at ng SHOOR. Sobrang solid. I've already attended first 2 nights. Tama ba? 2 nights na, no?
Yes.
And they've been enriching, entertaining, lots of new learnings, right amount of competition. Tsaka yun na nga eh. It's a safe way to enjoy a Friday evening and to still keep yourself sharp while having fun. So
yeah, so parang during the week, aral ka, stay at home.
Correct.
You wanna win on Friday.
Uy, totoo po yun, nagpe-pre-work talaga. Talaga namang preparasyon talaga siya. Battle talaga. So, thanks for putting it up, Jiggy. Yan.
You're welcome.
Okay, so again, please follow Jiggy on his YouTube channel, Geek Speak. Tama, brother?
Yes.
And just inviting every one of you to please come and join us in the Quiz Night Championship League by Geek Speak and SHOOR Philippines. Sobra pong saya, sobrang sulit po. Sitahin nyo lang po yung link na binigay ni Jiggy. I will also include the link and the details in the description box below. But for now, this has been a very, very exciting, interesting, and again, enlightening episode in collaboration with my good friend, Jiggy Cruz. Jiggy, thanks again. At sa inyong lahat po na nanonood, maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsubaybay at pagtangkilik Hanggang sa susunod po nating kabanata or snippet dito sa Fragments. Ako po ulit si Fraggy. Ingat po!